Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of KG Talks. I'm one of your co-hosts, Zak Karlen, and today I'm your only co-host. We've only had I think it was only 2 episodes where it's been only me, just due to scheduling issues. It hasn't happened as much in the summer. This is the first one in the summer where it was only me. And I think in 27 episodes, 3 of them where only one co-host can come, I think that's pretty good. Before we get into the dates and what holiday it is, I have a few announcements to make. First of all, I'm trying something new today. So I did some research, I did some snooping, or not snooping, that sounds bad, but I did some searching around, and I think I figured out how to have a video for our podcast on Spotify. So if you're listening on iHeartRadio, I don't think it's going to be a video, but I'm not sure. In case it doesn't work, because I'm recording the video on my phone right now, we kept saying how we thought we needed like a camera or something. Apparently we don't, because I'm trying it right now. But just in case, I have one microphone hooked up to my phone, and I have another microphone hooked up to the family laptop, which is just recording the audio. And both of them are connected to one account for my recording app. So I don't know how good this is going to work, and I really hope it works first try, because if it doesn't, I don't know if this video is going to be out on time, because I'm going to have to just record all this over and over again, or at least one more time, and I don't want to do that. We've only had one episode that was late, and that was really early on, and I don't want to have that happen again. Not only just for your guys' sake, but just for my sake as well. But if the video does work, have a look around. This is our recording studio. It was the pool house bathroom, but now we're in the pool house garage. If you do see the video, we got a pretty beautiful sunset behind me. It is pretty late, or later than we normally post, but I was pretty busy today. And obviously Carson was too, because he isn't able to come today. But, without further ado, I guess I'll get in the episode. I'll try to make it a full one like normal. I know they're not as entertaining, but I strive myself to try to keep it entertaining with just myself. I'll get straight into it. Today is June 26th, 2024. This is episode number 27, and today is National Helen Keller Day. Hold on 1 second. I just gotta make sure. Okay, cool. We're still recording. Today is National Helen Keller Day. And this is gonna sound really, really stupid, but I know a lot of people, which is kind of surprising, that don't know the difference between Helen Keller, Amelia Earhart, and there was one more I can't remember. But some people just don't know the difference. Helen Keller was blind and deaf. She wrote a lot of books. I haven't read any of them, but describing her experiences as a blind and deaf woman. And Amelia Earhart was the woman that flew, I think it was the Pacific, flew straight over the Pacific, I think the first person, and then eventually crashed. But you don't want to talk about that. And when you bring them up, a lot of people say, well, how did Helen Keller fly in the plane if she was blind and deaf? She didn't. And I think it's I don't know how well our education is doing us if we don't know the difference between those two. I think, in my opinion, that school was teaching us a lot of unnecessary things, right? Because, you have your necessary things, but in my opinion, I think you only really need to have your math, language arts, or English, a foreign language, a science, and then a history class, only up to 8th grade. Because after that, what am I going to need to know about the War of 1812? What am I going to need to know in the real world about Pythagorean's theorem? Or how to do statistics things? I think, in my opinion, that if you do want to go into one of those fields, you can have the option to take those more advanced classes. But I'm taking some of those advanced classes and I know I don't need them. I'm taking them in case I would want to, go to college or something. I don't really know what I'm going to do in my future. I mean, I always say it as a joke, but like hopefully this podcast takes off, make some extra money on the side. Hopefully. And speaking of, I forgot to say at the beginning, we do accept donations now. If you go into the description of this on Spotify, and probably iHeartRadio too, there's a little link that they put in that you can go to the link, you can put whatever dollar amount you want, and that'll be like a monthly donation to us, help us get better equipment. My dad, for my birthday, just got me some better equipment. I unboxed it, I read a little bit through it, I just gotta experiment with it like I'm experimenting right now, and just try to figure it out a little bit. But yeah, those are the announcements I wanted to go through, and I was just talking about how people don't know the difference between Amelia Earhart and Helen Keller, and I just wanted to, briefly go over some things I realized way too late in life. Like, I knew the difference between those two women, but here's some of the other things, because I have my little podcast pad to write some things down, because I don't have my phone with my list with me, because I'm recording on my phone. So I'm just going to go through some things that I realized way too late in life. First of all, I don't remember what ages I realized these, but I'm just going to go through them. First of all, when people brought up the term old school and the term new school, I thought those were like actual schools where they did things different. Like, older generations would go to the old school and it would be completely different. I didn't know it was just like a way of, like, a way that things used to be versus what things are now, just in general. Like an old school car, a new school car, or just things like that. I thought those were actual physical schools that people went to. And I think I first heard it in a TV show and I was completely dumbfounded. I didn't know what that even meant. Next up, I did not know the difference between a goosebump and a goose egg. I thought they were completely interchangeable. So whenever I would get cold or I saw something completely awe-inspiring, I was like, wow, I have goose eggs all over me. And then anyone that heard that would be immediately concerned, because they would think that I just got hit by a bunch of baseballs and just got a bunch of goose eggs. No, I got goose bumps everywhere, because those are the little bumps. Goose eggs, I think I do have a goose egg. It might not be a goose egg, but I definitely do have like a dent in my head, because in our band class, right, that's where the band lockers in the band room at our high school, they're pretty big. So you can put your instrument and you can also put all of your stuff in it, like your school stuff, your backpack, all of that. And I haven't used my regular combination locker that are in the hallways. I haven't used that in like 3 years, just because I've been using my band locker for so long. And they're really big, they got big doors. And this was like last year, I think. I had one near the ground, and I was putting it was at the end of the day, so I was putting my school stuff into my book bag and getting ready to leave. And there's a door above me. It wasn't open, it was closed. Somebody decided, I don't remember who, but somebody decided to pull a prank on me. They opened the door, thinking that I would just bump my head real quick, and that was it. But I didn't know. Obviously, I didn't see the door. So I was getting my stuff. I was about to stand up. Somebody accidentally poked me in the side, so I stood up real quick, and I was going to go like, yo, man, what up? Or something like that. And I stood up really quick, and I dented my head from the door. It hurt really bad, so that's why I'm scared to go bald. Like, I have a hat on right now, not because I'm like balding or anything. I just really like this hat. It says big guy on it. Anyone that knows, if you know, you know. This is like my trademark hat. I love this hat. I'm going to wear it to the day I die. Hopefully. Hopefully it lasts as long. I'm going to wear it till like it disintegrates. Like, it is dark blue, but it's getting some light pink tints on it just from sun damage, just because I wear it so much. And I've only had it for like a year now. less than a year. It's probably been about 8 months, and there's already sun damage just from wearing it so much. And it's really good quality. If anyone knows he's a streamer and also YouTuber Jay Schlatt. Go check him out. If you actually do whatever you want, you don't have to check him out. But that's where I got the hat. He's got a bunch of cool merchandise. I'm not sponsored by him, but it'd be cool if I was. Next up, things I learned way too late in life. There's different phone numbers for different regions of the country, like in the U.S. I thought, like, I live in Ohio, and a lot of people have 330 as the first three digits. I thought that was everywhere in the U.S. And one time I got a phone call, it said like 339 or something, like, I don't know, somewhere in California or something. And I was like, am I getting hacked or something? Because I didn't know that the three digits can be different. What are we looking at for time? Okay, we're about 11 minutes in. I'm still going to be doing my little game at 15-minute mark like I always do. But yeah, I didn't know phone numbers. And don't even get me started about like different countries or different continents. And speaking of, like, I want to travel, like, just in my adulthood, either alone or with other people. Think it would be interesting to travel just anywhere. Some exotic countries, some underdeveloped, really well-developed countries. Doesn't matter. I just want to get out because I know I've been here for last 17 years of my life. I've just been hanging around here in Northeast Ohio. I haven't gotten out a whole bunch. I talk about it a lot because when we went to Florida with the marching band, because that was really had an impact on me, right? Because I don't go out a whole lot. We went to Virginia once, but other than that, I don't leave here a lot. So, I was talking about traveling in different countries. I think it's really wild how different countries have it's not really wild, but they have different customs, and even like the small things, like the way their outlets are. Like here in the U.S., we either have the 2-prong or the 3-prong thing to go into the outlet. Others, they got like a circle thing or whatever. Like, I think all of our listeners are in the U.S. right now, but if you're from a different country, go ahead, drop it in the comment. What type of outlet you got over there? Say you're in like Jamaica or something. What kind of outlets you got there? You got outlets? I don't know. Something else I didn't realize. The term groutfit. I didn't know what that meant. I used to have no style. Like, I don't have any style right now, but I used to have negative style in the early parts of high school. Like, I'm gonna be a senior now. I still, my style is either jeans and sweatshirt or shorts and a t-shirt, and that's all I got. And maybe a hat every once in a while. Maybe a bracelet. I don't wear necklaces. Maybe I should. A lot of people do, and I think I would want to. But I wear bracelets sometimes. I wear hats sometimes. And the word groutfit, I didn't know that meant gray outfit. It was the combination of those two words. I thought it meant something to do with like an emo. Like, I don't even know. I think it was just the sound of that word. I don't know where I got that idea from, but I thought it meant emo. So I was always a little taken aback when people be like, wow, that's a weird grout fit, because, gray on gray doesn't really match. And I would wear that all the time. I would wear gray shorts, gray sweatshirt, and I don't know. Words are weird, man. I don't know if that's me being stupid, but words are weird. Oh, next up, Godspeed. The term Godspeed, I thought that was a movie reference. I didn't know that was just a term that people say that means, in short terms, just to be pretty simple, it just means like good luck or more power to you, Godspeed. I thought that was a movie reference from like the 90s. I thought it was like an Adam Sandler movie reference, because he's got hundreds of movies basically. I mean, it's kind of the same character. Same thing with like Dwayne The Rock Johnson, or Kevin Hart, especially those two together. They're in a lot of movies together. I thought that was just a movie reference, but they always play the same character over and over again. And I mean, if you have that much money, if you're making money from all those, I guess more power to you. Godspeed. Next up, I thought like a senior trip was just like a field trip for seniors. They would all go to like the Bahamas or something, or like Virginia Beach if you don't have as much money. I didn't know that was just like a small group of friends or a bunch of different little friend groups or just your best bud going to the beach somewhere or whatever, going to a theme park. I thought that was a field trip like we used to have in like elementary school and middle school. I thought that was a field trip, but for just the senior class. And it was big. I thought it was like a big fundraiser like they do for prom sometimes. That's what I thought it was. I didn't know that you don't have to make the ingredients to make something from scratch. I thought that if you made like a cake from scratch, it doesn't mean, I didn't know that it, like making something from scratch means that you didn't just buy it pre-made. I didn't know that. I thought it was like you had to have the chicken, you have to wait for it to, drop the egg, crack it, do all that. I thought you had to like make all the powders, make the flour somehow. I thought you had to like crush the grain or whatever to make flour. I didn't know that you just had to buy the ingredients and then make it from scratch. Next up, I thought this for a while. For some reason, I just didn't think into it at all. I thought 911 was automatic. Like, for example, if you got into a car crash on the highway, I thought that like automatically EMS, fire and rescue, the cops, I thought they were all called up. They just knew from like satellites or something, maybe from cameras from a building, or satellites. I didn't know that it was people calling in. Like I knew that you could call 911 and they go, hey, what's the emergency? Where's the address? I knew that, but I didn't know that was really the only way for the information to get across. I thought that was just something to speed up the process or to get more information to the first responders. I didn't know that was the only thing. Next up, this is actually kind of the last one before I get into my game, which if you've been listening, you already know what's coming up. But I didn't know that not every single car has to go through a crash test, because I've seen the videos where they send a robot or they have like a crash test dummy, and then they have like a little catapult thing to make a car go like straight into a wall. I thought every single car that was manufactured had to go through a crash test, because, and I was kind of dumbfounded. I've said dumbfounded twice in this episode if you're keeping track, but make it 3. I was dumbfounded because I thought, every car had to go through one. So if you take these new cars and they just don't have a single scratch on it, I thought that the car dealerships were just really good at repairing the cars. I didn't know that only a few cars from that make and model had to go through the crash test. I thought it was, every single car. What are we looking at for time? We're looking at about 20 minutes, so I'm a little over the time, but it is game time. Every 15-minute mark, or the first 15 minutes, at the 15-minute mark of every episode, we do a little game, and when it's just me by myself, I do things that could be the move. Speaking of, this is the 3rd installment of Could Be the Move. I completely got inspiration from a TikTok account. The name of the account is Could Be the Move, CBTM. And these are just things that, you could do. It's simply that. I'll give you a few examples. I only have a few here because I don't have my phone with me, the whole list. I just have like 4 or 5 here that I'll go over and explain them a little bit. And you'll catch on. Trust me. First up, it's something that could be the move, is just write some pickup lines. Those, if you've watched the NFL or even college football, some quarterbacks have a little playbook or whatever on their wrist. They got a little wristband that opens up. You see all their plays, you see all the routes, and then they get into the huddle. They relay all the information. What if you wrote up your pickup lines in like an armband, have it open, so you don't have to remember like 15 of them, because you don't want to use the same pickup line on every single girl. Some people have go-to pickup lines, but I think it's good to have a variety. Spice it up sometimes, especially if you're in a smaller place and one girl might overhear you say a pickup line, and then she realizes that you say the same one to her. If I was that girl, I would be, even if I was interested in that person, I wouldn't be anymore, because you're not using your creative skills. And even if you do have them written down in the armband, you're still being creative and writing new ones. And if you have like a itty bitty little pen or pencil, if they give you a number and you don't feel like whipping your phone out, boom, write it down right on the wristband. Easy, quick, simple. You don't even need like an official NFL wristband. I don't even know where you would get those. You just need like even just a little piece of paper and a rubber band, or like not a zip tie, a hair tie. Just put that down on your wrist. Easy. Next one, something that could be the move. Always have a few people on standby that are experts on different fields. Kind of like whatever his name was from Pawn Stars. If you ever watch Pawn Stars, I can't remember what the guy's name. Something Rich. I don't know. He looks like a Richard. He's bald. Got a little beard. It's like a family-owned business. Not anymore because it was on TV. But it's just a pawn shop, and they put it on video. And for some reason, he has like 30,000 contacts in his phone that's experts in different fields. And I think that would be funny, just to have experts in different fields, but they're just your different friends. Like, instead of using Google, if you're in an argument with someone and you think you're right, they think they're right, you call in an expert instead of Googling it. Or if you have like an argument on a different item, like maybe even a car. Say you don't know something about the engine of a car, you call in an expert, not even a mechanic, just your friend that knows something about automobiles. I think that would be so funny just to pull out in a random conversation. Next up, everyone, like if you own your own house, maybe not in an apartment, but if you own your own house, have everyone that comes over sign like a wall or like a picture frame or maybe the back of a couch at least once. For example, if the video works on this, every person that comes onto the podcast, I have them sign the very front page. There's signatures everywhere, and it's called the Pod Pad. So I have it written down for all my ideas, and everyone signed. Well, not everyone because we missed a few, but at the very beginning of the episode when I'm explaining the process of this podcast, I have everyone sign their name, and then I don't know, just to have it, just to give a visual representation of how many people have been on. I mean, if they come back again, they don't have to sign it again. But even if you do have an apartment, I think it would be really, really cool to just buy a piece of drywall from, just Lowe's, Home Depot, anywhere, Walmart even. I don't know if they have drywall. But have a piece of drywall if you have an apartment and you're renting, and just take a Sharpie, put it on like a little string, and have everyone that's been in your apartment at least once sign it. Especially if you have like parties or something, that bad boy is gonna be filled. And it's almost like, it makes them feel special too, I feel like. If I had to sign something and it's not a contract or something that I always have to sign, if I just sign something, I feel popular. I feel like a celebrity. And I would want your guest to feel like that too. That's just what I think. I think that would be really cool. In the camera, I can't tell if my face is really red, if that's just a shadow, but my face is always red. Okay, next up. Something that could be the move. Keep like one of those airplane carts that they have with all the peanuts and chips and water. And just have that in your house. I don't know where you would get that, but it's almost kind of similar to like a wine cart, where you just have like your wine bottles or whatever, but just for like snacks, and have like an actual airplane thing with like the doors that pull open. It's kind of similar. I know it's wrong, but some people steal shopping carts or whatever. You don't have to steal it. You could probably just find it on Facebook Marketplace. Or Craigslist. They probably got it somewhere there. And I know people take shopping carts. People take street signs, which I think is really, really funny. Just have it hanging on your wall. A lot of people take traffic cones, especially if they're just sitting out. Some people even take like the really big giant traffic cones. I'm not condoning that. Actually, something else that I realized too late. I don't know what condoning versus not condoning means. I know one of them it means support and one of them means not support, but I don't know which is which. Oh, okay. I think I've heard someone say I don't condone violence. So I think condoning means I could just look it up, but my phone is recording. I think condoning means like approval. So if you don't condone violence, you don't approve it. I think that's what it is. But yeah, just have like a little airplane cart for all your snacks. It would be a conversation starter too. Some people have a fireplace. Some people have like a really cool like a deer head maybe as a conversation starter. Maybe a gun hanging over the fireplace. You have an airplane cart as a conversation starter. Be different. Don't fall into the system. Be different. What are we looking at? We're looking at 25. I don't know why I keep looking at the time. Well, I still got like 20 minutes before it hits the 45-minute mark. We always like to keep these a little shorter. Some podcasts on the internet go way longer. I feel like I could with some guests, but I don't want to make it too long. Not for our sake, because I feel like it just comes natural when I'm talking to guests. Well, most guests. But it's almost for you guys. I don't know. We could make them longer in the future. It just depends, I guess. Next up, what could be the move? Get like a smart board or like a whiteboard or a chalkboard. Just put it on your wall for, write up some plans, write up some notes. Make a calendar or something. Like people have regular calendars. I think if you have a whiteboard, a smart board, or just a regular dry erase board, just to write out your plans for the day, draw a map by like memory, play some games on it, maybe play tic-tac-toe against yourself, see which part of your brain is smarter, left or right. I don't know, I'm just talking, but yeah, I think that would be really fun, especially if you have people over. You play games on the smart board. I don't know how many people know what a smart board is. I'm just completely guessing, but a smart board is like a relatively new thing in schools, where it's just an electric whiteboard. It connects to a computer. You can draw on it and then erase it. It's just an electric chalkboard, basically. But yeah, this has been the game segment of things that could be the move. Hopefully you enjoyed it if this is your first time listening to Could Be the Move. And I'm going to move back on to my regular topics on my podpad. Next up, doppelgangers. Doppelgangers kind of surprised me, because I heard a statistic, I've heard a few times. What is there, about 8 billion people in the world right now? They say, on average, statistically, every person has like 6 or 7 doppelgangers. I don't know how close that you have to see it. I went to... Oh, this fly keeps bothering me. I went to an honors band thing last year. An honors band is just... in different counties and different districts of the states, they send emails to different band directors, taking the better people, the more advanced people from those bands, high school bands, and putting them into a larger band in a district. And that's the honor band. And I was sitting next to this guy. It's like a 3-day thing. The concert's on the 3rd day, so you're spending a lot of time with these people. And we had a lunch break on one of the days. And this guy pulls his phone out. He goes, "Hey, you really look like my friend." I looked exactly like him, but this guy didn't have a beard. He just kind of had, not to be rude if you're probably not listening, but not to be rude or anything, but he kind of had a perp stash. Like I have like a little beard here. He just had a perp stash, and he had like a really long comb over. But other than that, in the face, he looked really, really similar to me. People say that I look older than I am. Like, I'm 17. Maybe I sound older than I am. I don't know. I guess I just have good genes for it. But I think I looked a little older than him, even though he might have been older than me. But I looked very, very similar. Like, very similar. If you gave us the same outfit, the same haircut, and shaved, like clean shaven both of us, I would have to take a double glance or a double take to figure out which one is which. And that was really cool for me. But the thing is, I wonder if, because they say you have about 7 doppelgangers that look pretty similar to you. I wonder if those parents, your parents and their parents, might look similar too. Because you're just a combination of your parents' different qualities or genetics, and your parents are just offspring of your grandparents. And you know how evolution works, how generations work. But I wonder if your parents would look same as the other person's parents. Maybe your dad looks like their mom, or your dad looks like their dad. It's just something to think of. I just think of these topics whenever, and if I write them down, I write them down. If I don't, they just go out into the world, or into my mind, I guess, because I don't really talk about them unless I'm talking about them on here. And something else, I wish I could, write down thoughts without have to actually, typing them or writing them down. Because I have really good thoughts right before I go to bed, but I don't feel like getting out of bed just to write it down. Or if I'm falling asleep and I'm about to lose consciousness from actually falling asleep, and I have good ideas, but come on, I'm not gonna sacrifice my sleep just for that. Same thing when I'm in the shower. People, you've heard the term shower thoughts, and then you forget them by the end of the. At least I forget them by the end of the shower, and it's kind of sad. I haven't had a really good shower thought in a while, but I've had some good invention ideas. I've shared a few of them on past past episodes, and I got most of those invention ideas from the shower. It's kind of like a different portal, because you go in, you have good ideas, and when you come out, you forget them. That's kind of weird. I think the recording stopped on the laptop. Let me check real quick. Hi camera, if you can see me. Hopefully, I'm gonna have to put the pin in, I think. Well, I guess it's just that audio might be lost, I'm not sure. Hopefully it's not, because if this video doesn't work, I'm kind of screwed. I'm gonna have to record tomorrow, which is gonna suck. So hopefully this works. Hopefully my phone has enough juice, data, I don't know, enough power to make it work. A 45-minute video to upload to Spotify. Hopefully that works. Because whenever I send videos over 2 minutes anywhere, over email, over anything, it takes forever and you have to stay on that page for so long. It sucks. Next up, on my notepad here, I'm just writing down concepts. Next, I just have the word eye contact, or the 2 words eye contact. And I think where I was going with this is eye contact can be a really strong thing. If you're meeting someone new, eye contact can tell a lot about a person, but it also can tell a lot about you to them. Because it can tell if you're a confident person. If you look away a lot, you may be nervous in that situation, or you might just, because I used to not be very good at eye contact. I think I've definitely got a lot better as I've matured, and I think I've gotten better at keeping a conversation. I used to be able to keep conversations, but I'd just get bored really quick, and I think it's rude to just show that you're bored in a conversation. So now I just, I keep it going until the other person, it just randomly, or it naturally comes to the end of a conversation. But yeah, eye contact can tell a lot about you and a lot about the other person. Next up, I have the word manifesting. I'm not going to talk about this one because I don't know what I was going to try to talk about. I think I've already talked about this on a different episode with Carson, so I don't feel like talking about this one, not going to lie. Next up, I have music is poetry, and that's the truth. If you think about it, if you take any genre, country, pop, hip-hop, rap, if you take down the lyrics, especially if it rhymes, if you take it out, take the music away, put it in lines and stanzas, it's a poem. Because songs and music is, even if the music doesn't have words, if it's an orchestra, music is just a way of expressing oneself, thoughts, ideas, emotions, feelings. And same thing with poetry and just writing in general. And music is just another type of poetry, another type of expression, just like writing, music, poetry, videography, pictures, podcast, you know. And along with that, I tend to get obsessed with songs. I don't know if it's like being obsessive, but if I listen to a good song, like I listen to it once a day and then twice a day, and then by the end of the week I listen to it 10, 12 times. And sometimes I can just keep listening to it. Sometimes I get bored of it. I get tired of it. Same thing with like movies, maybe. And then eventually I come back to them like, wow, I forgot this was a good song. It happens again. It's a cycle. Most of the time that doesn't happen, but sometimes I do get kind of obsessive over songs. Next up, I just really like organizing things. I know these topics aren't really related, but I just like organizing things. It just makes it easier. The easier something is to understand, the more likely I think I'm going to like the concept. Like when I get home from school, or when I'm about to start my homework, I always organize it into subjects, and I just take it subject by subject, or whether, oh, the garage door's open, so it's just bugs getting in. I don't know what that was, but it flew right onto my hat brim. I just like organizing things. It makes things easier to understand. It helps to just digest information, or just digest things that you need to do. If you have a to-do list, just organize it. Like I organize my playlist like really specifically. I have a bunch of things in my notes app. Like, for example, all these ideas, I have them really organized. So I could just go one off of another. And I also just like minimalism sometimes. The more easy something is to understand, the more likely I am to like it. If something is really complex, I'm going to probably just not even take a stab at it. That's not a good character trait, but, that's my character. That's my character trait. Even though it's not a good one, that's just my character trait. I might have to cut this episode a little short. We're at like 37 minutes right now. I'm going to try to make it to 45. So I guess I'll just riff for a little bit, because I don't have any more ideas. So I'm just going off what I'm going off of. You know what? You know what I'm going to talk about? If you can hear in the background, there's a train. Trains are just marvels of engineering. How much does a train weigh? Like a lot of tons. That was kind of a rhetorical question, but it weighs a lot. And it can carry hundreds of train cars that also weigh probably as much as a small house. Maybe, I don't know. Probably a small house. But just the amount of weight that it can move, 70, 80 miles an hour. Actually, I don't know if they go that fast. That might not be safe. But even just the train horn, how loud it can be. You can hear it miles away. Just engineering. Humans came from trying to figure out fire by just smacking rocks together and hoping that some brush catches fire. Before the concept of fire was even existed, they just smacking rocks together, tying a rock to a stick and using that as a club to, beat a bear to death or whatever to survive. And now we have the internet. What the heck? We have Bluetooth right now. What is Bluetooth? Like, I'm actually asking, what is Bluetooth? This electronical device that comes from, the ground, comes from minerals and whatever, connects to another one through the air from like a satellite. Like, what? Like, even the simple things, like a sewing machine, like the fabric of this shirt. How did we come from, I don't know. Humans are like so smart. It kind of makes me think, how are we the only things that we've discovered in the universe? Like, Earth is the only, like, living thing that we've discovered in the universe. I know they said Mars probably had water or whatever, and Martians, I don't know. I think I've already talked about this in a different episode, but I kind of do want to have, like, a conspiracy theory episode where we just take, like, 10 or 12 conspiracy theories and then just have a controversial guest. Not even controversial, but it's just like an entertaining guest, and have them like run through them, give them their thoughts. I gave this idea one time. I'm giving this out as an idea that anyone can take. Start a different podcast, and I don't know what the name would be, but every different episode, I don't know how long it would be, either from half an hour to 2 hours, can be whatever. Every single episode, you go over a new conspiracy theory or something that just like boggles your mind. And if it's just a 2-person podcast, there's just 2 co-hosts. They get together and they pick a side before they, like the week before, if they post every week, they get together and they pick a side. If they both want to choose one side, who cares? They got to do rock, paper, scissors. And they do all the research they can on one topic. The other person does all the research, and they kind of get into a debate, almost like politics, but not politics. They just go back and forth like a political debate and just debate their side. And one person or a third person could just listen in, ask questions, and then they would be the person that rules which side they think on. And I think eventually whoever that third person decides, the person that won would get a tally, and then after like 20 episodes, you get like a winner. Because, I mean, how many conspiracy theories are there? Or you could do, I mean, I know there's a lot of true crime podcasts, so maybe not do that, because I think other than comedy or like lifestyle podcasts, I think true crime is the most popular category. I mean, I think we're considered a comedy podcast because when I was setting up the account, you had to pick a topic, and I didn't know what to pick. Like, it wasn't a food or diet or a fitness podcast. It wasn't a lifestyle. It wasn't true crime. It wasn't any of that. So I just put it as comedy interview, and I think that's what it is. I think we can do some pretty funny stuff. But to wrap up this episode, I was gonna say this at the beginning. I keep forgetting. I didn't write it down. But if hopefully this video works. Hopefully, because if not, this would be really bad, and I would have to re-upload it sometime else with no audio. But hopefully I can try to figure out how to take clips from this and make a TikTok account for KG Talks and upload clips like you see. I'm sure you've seen comedy clips on TikTok. Try to figure out how to do that. I don't know. I have no idea how to do that. But hopefully I can try. And yeah, hopefully I can do that. Maybe make an Instagram account. I don't even have Instagram for myself. I would have to get permission from my parents. But yeah, we're kind of sitting near the 45-minute mark. What are we at right now? 42, 43. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter if I get all the way. But yeah, I'll give the spiel like I always do. Make sure to follow. Turn on notifications so you know when we upload. If this works and there's a TikTok account, go check out that. It'll probably just be named KG Talks. I don't know, TikTok. And also, there's probably a link that I'll be able to put on so that it can take you straight to the account. Make sure to share this with your friends and family, anyone. Go check out the other episodes. And yeah, this has been Zak Karlen for KG Talks. Episode, 27 now? Yeah, hopefully this works. See you next episode.